A little bit about the Maya Kowalski talk we did last night, and how important it is. I don't know if some of you guys got a chance to watch the Netflix documentary about Maya and what happened to her family, what happened to her mother. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it because it really is a big deal, and I'll tell you a bunch of reasons why that are so important. For one, Maya won the case. Thank God for her. Justice being served. It was very important for so many reasons. They struggled and they suffered, just untold suffering. But I wanted to talk about what has happened throughout the decades. I've seen it out there, and I've talked to doctor friends at the same time throughout the years. I've talked to families, and mysterious illness, CRPS, or any kind of mysterious symptoms, neurological symptoms, anything like that. Anytime it's a child, anything can go wrong. The system was set up and built to target parents or loved ones. This happens often. It still happens even recently. That's why this case was so critical for a win. It's going to change, like, history. This is historic, what's happening right here. And for the chronically ill, it's a huge win. What happens when a child falls ill and the symptoms are misunderstood, it's confusing. The doctors look at the child. They can't really find a real answer to why there's pain or suffering. And so they look for other answers outside of the child. So they start looking at the mom. They start looking at the dad. They start looking at the aunts and the uncles. And then they start getting really suspicious about the loved ones and family members. If the mom is too concerned or overly concerned and really looking out for their daughter or their son, this system gets suspicious. If a mom is overprotective, like being a mama bear, because she knows her child has been suffering, she has brought her child to multiple doctors, been in and out of hospitals for years, has been through it all with their child, and their child's still suffering. Their child's suffering emotionally, physically, pain that's mysterious, neurological symptoms that are mysterious, anything from migraines to twitching to spasms to severe chronic fatigue to anything like CRPS. What happens is that the system gets confused. They misunderstand the child's pain. They don't recognize the child's pain. They run the tests that the system is only able to resource. And when the tests come out okay, they have nowhere to go. And when the child's still suffering, they start looking for other things. Say, start talking to the parents. Often what they'll do is they'll keep the parents away from the child. So then the child's stuck in a hospital or in a clinic, or they'll stick the child even in a foster home with strangers, while the most loving parents are kept away purposely. I've seen this happen all through the years. I've had doctors tell me about this all through the years, and other healthcare providers have told me about this, and other professionals. And the mom and the dad get targeted, or one of them gets targeted. And then they'll say it's Munchausen by proxy. They'll say the mom or the dad is causing the pain and suffering. They're either making up the pain and suffering, or they're causing the symptoms purposely and it becomes this child abuse. And so the system is built for looking at that. And then the social workers come in and the psychiatrists come in, and they all have this target. The parents have this target on their back. And I've seen this, and it's devastating, because now the parents are scared to death. Any move they make, anything they say can be used against them. Any kind of extra caring they want to give their child, if they want to tell the nurses or the doctor, look, our child likes this or our child likes that, or this medication wasn't working for our child, we've already tried that medication, and then the doctors say, no, you've got to listen to us. We're telling you what medication we're prescribing, and that's what your daughter or son is going to be on. And the parents go, well, that medication gave my child a bad reaction last year. I'm giving you examples of what I've seen out there and what I've been told by other doctors and healthcare providers throughout the years. And then all of a sudden now the parents are too involved. There's all the suspicion, and then it's Munchausen. That's the diagnosis. It's happened hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, actually thousands of times. And it's destroyed families. It's destroyed the children who are sick and the teenagers who are sick. And it's destroyed young adults. It's destroyed a lot of people, but it's destroyed families and parents throughout the decades. And it's a real common practice, and it's untouchable. It's like under the law, untouchable. All that has to happen is a bell just rings, and it's over for the parents and for the child. By simple mistakes, because of being protective or overprotective, because the mystery symptoms are so confusing. So what happens is mystery neurological symptoms baffle the medical system, completely baffle the medical system, because they don't know why a child should be suffering when they check the blood work and everything looks fine. They do the MRIs, they do the CAT scans, everything looks fine. And in the end, they're just like, well, we don't know why your daughter's in this pain or your son is in this pain. And so it becomes this mystery illness, and any little suspicion about the mom or dad, and then it all just tumbles down. And then the family's being watched, social services come in, and Department of Children's Services, Department of, comes in, the state comes in, and then they do things like they separate the family members. They have full control, and you can't battle it. There's no way to win. There never was any way to win. Families were destroyed, and that's the way the medical system works. That's why this is so big, so huge. This is saying you can't do this to our families anymore. You have to be careful and not do this to our families anymore. That's what this means. This is a victory beyond all victories. I mean, it's that huge. And this should be heralded. This should be everywhere. This should be on the news every single day right now, everywhere, instead of just popping up here or there, because it's that important to the chronically ill. It's that important to the future of the chronically ill, because what's happening right now is people are getting sicker. Life expectancy dropped. Spirit of Compassion told me years ago life expectancy was dropping. I called that shot. I talked about it. I published information on it. And now they just came out with a new number, and it's dropped. And that number's inflated because it's even way lower than that. And then the next 5 years, next 10 years, more and more people are going to get sick. More and more younger people are going to get sick. And there's going to be this problem, this Munchausen by proxy, where the state takes over, separates the family, tortures the family. The child doesn't get the care it needs. It doesn't get the love. The child doesn't get the love he or she needs. And then we're back in this place. And so many people are going to be falling ill with neurological problems, mysterious problems. It's already happening. It's been happening. But so many people are. There's just going to be this whole mystery shrouding all these symptoms, being passed off as anxiety and panic attacks, being passed off as the family, the mom and dad are way too overprotective and are problematic. And there's going to be thousands upon thousands of more separations of family and blame put on the mom and dad, or the caretaker, or the uncle, the aunt, or whoever is responsible for the child. And so this case was so critical. It's angelic, this case. It's godly, this case, this win. So much so important that this is going to help break the system down a little bit and correct it. Open the system up. Weed the bad in the system out, so that there's a new understanding, so that people actually pay attention and maybe think twice when a sick child and a mom come into the emergency room, to the hospital. And the system thinks twice before they start pulling all kinds of screwball, problems that actually separate the family, that create more torture upon the children and the mom and the dad. And that's why this was critical, because it's a warning sign for the medical system to be like, hold your horses here. You don't have answers for our children. Our children are sick. That's what happened with Maya. She was suffering. It was a mystery condition for so long. Then she got the diagnosis of CRPS. But the hospital did not want to acknowledge what was really happening, what the mom's records were, what the mom's information. She kept unbelievable records of her child and the treatments and the doctor visits that her child had, that Maya had. And so the mom was an expert at her child's health. And then that was all thrown away. It was all just squandered away instantly by the system. They didn't care what Beata had to say. They didn't care about Maya's mom, about what she had to say. And this has happened to thousands of people, thousands of children and parents over the years, where instantly the mom's discredited, instantly. All her records, all her documents, all the experience she has with her child's pain and suffering, the understanding of what works for her child, what doesn't, all of that thrown away in an instant, because the medical system and the state takes over, and the bureaucratic red tape comes in without any compassion whatsoever for the situation, no one understanding what's going on. And that's how the system's been built, and that's what's happened all these years and decades. And that's why this win is just unbelievable. So I can't talk about it enough right now. So if you get a chance, you can watch the Netflix documentary about Maya Kowalski and her family. And anyway, you guys know I care, truly proud of you all. And I know so many of you guys know so much too, because you're experts. You're experts at what you have seen and experienced and what you have been through. And I know many of you have been swept under the carpet and misunderstood and misjudged along the way with your symptoms and conditions. I know so many of you, even from the mildest symptoms some people experience to the most severe, so many of you have been pushed really far and pushed really hard, unfairly judged, misunderstood along the way. And I know that some of you know what I'm talking about, and some of you know these experiences that I'm talking about and have experienced them yourself in many ways. Anyway, just know that I care. Many blessings, and I'll leave another message soon.